Hello my woolly wanderers and welcome to this week's video. So we're here on a Sunday and I'm just doing the intro. I just wanted to show you what's going on this week. So first of all we're going to be looking at a bit of the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery pouch that we're doing. I said the right word, thank goodness. I'm doing this with my mum. I've just done the invisible stitching, which is all on the back, and I'm showing you how to do that and finishing that off. Ready for recording tomorrow, which is Monday. Me and my mum going to the next stage where we're going to be doing the cantha stitch and different stitches on the different materials. So that's what's coming first. We're going to have a look at Sidney. Now I did promise a picture, so this is the picture that I took off Facebook from my friend's Facebook page of the squirrel at the Tower of London, and this is my Sidney. So I'm going to be talking through giving him another eye, another ear, and basically getting to this stage. So that's that one, and then we're going to go through to me designing, to the designing phase of me making a quilted landscape. Hopefully you can see that. So we're going to be running through that. Oh yes, also my little hare I've designed, and I would like someone to maybe think of a name for him. So we've got Sidney Squirrel, we've got Henry Hare, so do kind of like the alliteration, so see what you can come up with, because he's so cute. Well, it could be a her, it could be a she too, it could be a her, it could be a she too. So whatever you think, put it in the comments below, and we'll make a choice together. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. Got the pouch. I nearly said pooch again. Just going to put that pin in here so you can see. So that goes there. So I'd just like to say the bit that I did on Monday, so Monday's Monday with my mum, I'd actually sewn on the wrong way. Yeah, so I can't believe it. So I did the video, and it wasn't until today, and this is not the first time I've been sewing this week, it's the third time, and it's today that I noticed it was round the wrong way. Right, so we've got this like this. This is the top. I'm going to show you. I turn it around. Ends up looking like that, and that's what my front of my pouch is going to look like. Okay, so I've got my thread, so I'm putting it through I'm putting it through nothing because I haven't done my needle. This eye is so small. Right, let's try again. So I finished there, so I'm going to start there again because I ran out of thread. I'll just show you. So I finished, you can't really see it because it's white. Finished there, and I over sewed it. I'm just going to get rid of that bit, go into the same place. This is what my mum was teaching me to do on Monday. So I'm going in, I go a little bit behind, and then I come up again, I go a little bit behind, And I mean, when I say a little bit, I mean like a millimetre. Tiny, tiny bit, so you can't see the stitch. Hence the name invisible stitching. Invisible stitching, if I can actually say it. Yeah. Literally, the stitches come up there. Right, stitches come up there. I'm just literally going in right behind it. Like that. And go in front or behind. Let's try it again. So I'm coming up there. So basically, the way I look at it is if you're going to tack it on, which I used to do with things sometimes, I haven't done this method before, just think of it as the tack line is actually going underneath. Right, let me show you on this one. So these are the stitches here. So underneath you've got all these lengths. You've got a nice long length like that and a nice long length like that. But on the top, you won't be able to see it because it's on the green. On the top, you've got tiny, tiny stitches on here. So you can't see it. Right, so I'm going to see where I finish right there. So I'm going to go down a bit. So I'm just going along kind of ding, 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 ding. So I'm just trying to ding, 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 like S's all over, square S's if you like, going around the material. So all we're doing with this invisible stitching is tacking. It's not tacking though, because obviously you can't see it, but we're putting everything down so that we haven't got the pins, so that when we work on it, you haven't got the pins there. And for me, being a needle felter, I'm very joyous that we're getting rid of the pins because they hurt a lot. Oh, right, I'm going to have to go off because my son's just finishing with his tutor. So, I should be back in a mo. Well, it's really raining out there, so that's not very nice. So anyway, that's my son done for the day. He has a tutor comes, maths tutor comes twice a week because we've chosen to homeschool him because he was being bullied, which is the case sometimes, especially with children who are different. They always find something, don't they, to pick on, which is the way of the world, isn't it? But anyway, I took him out of school about 2.5 years ago. But this year we've got his GCSEs, so it's all a bit, I don't know, I feel nervous about it. I'm trying to do our best, but you know, you always worry, don't you, that you're not doing enough. I guess that's just part of it, to be honest, of homeschooling. But he's going to take 2 subjects. He's going to do English and maths. We're also supported by a place up in Titchfield near us. It's called Fairgoss, which are very good. It's a home education charity, and they help people like me, because obviously when I took him out of school, I just did not know where to go, where to look. And luckily I'd seen a friend who'd had to do the same thing with her son. And so I rang her up and she very kindly talked me through it. And so yeah, he goes to 3 lessons there a week as well, which obviously we pay for, but he does English, maths and marine science. But he's gonna do the marine science GCSE next year instead of this year. Goodness, this keeps coming. I'm obviously not putting it on well enough. Yeah, so he's doing their IGCSEs. He's going to be doing English and maths in May and June. Yeah, I think I feel more nervous than he does. To be honest, he doesn't think he needs them, but it's always the way, isn't it? I try and explain to him why he does. Anyway, we'll get there. I know we will. This is why I'm so glad I've got my crafts, actually, because I think it's, especially when you're at home a lot of the time, because you are homeschooling, and although he's 15, because of the difficulties he faces, he can't really do it on his own. Hello, Mum. I'm just recording me doing my invisible stitching. So I'm doing my homework. Just gonna get some yellowy, which will match these two here, because obviously I don't want to put white on these because you'll really see them. Yes. So they're my threads. Yeah, so hopefully you saw my threads there. I've decided on this one, which is a new moon, a Quilted moon one, which I do actually do free motion quilting as well. I do pictures, landscapes, because I actually do felted landscapes. Wouldn't mind showing you on this video actually, because I don't think I've really shown you my pieces. So maybe we'll do a bit of a reveal of some of the work that I've done in the past. Yes, that doesn't want to go in there, so I'm gonna... Yeah, the thread I was using was bobbin thread, so it was really, really thin, so I think I'm gonna have to get another needle. So as you can see here, I'm working on Sidney, bless his heart, on some details of his eye. A friend of mine who works in the Tower of London, who's a beef eater, took a lovely picture of a squirrel, so I decided to blow up the picture, and I've been copying it ever since. And he's got some like reddy gingery colour around his face, which is obviously what I'm doing here, just adding in some detail, carding a little bit of wool. Yeah, they're actually dog combs I use, which is perfectly fine for carding little bits of wool. I wouldn't use them if I was carding wool ready to be spun. So yeah, lots of detail on his eyes and around his face, which obviously is important. Oh yes, I'm making his ear here, bless him. It was really funny actually, because when I first did him, I put both the eyes, so I had one eye already on. I thought, oh goodness, I must put that other eye on. So anyway, I was filming and I spent ages putting this eye on, and I don't know why I didn't look, but when I put him up so that I could see him, the eye was completely in the wrong place. Really made me chuckle. Anyway, I did take that out. But yeah, so both of his eyes are in the right place now. I'm just learning to do 3D felting. I've always done 2D stuff, as you've seen on this video, the stuff that I do. And so to do the 3D stuff it's great. I mean, giving the animal a face, I'm just really enjoying that process. So yeah, certainly it's certainly different. Okay, yeah, here's me folding the wool over for his other ear. So he already had one ear. So he had one eye, one ear. Now he's got two eyes and one ear. So this is his second ear. So I'm basically felting and drinking tea, of course, felting that into a shape which will then be the right shape to go on his head. As you can see, I keep putting it up to Sidney just to make sure that it's the same shape, because obviously you want it to match the shape of the other ear, which is already there. And then obviously I'm adding the gingery kind of yellowy colour, which is on his other ear as well. I think that's the thing which is I'm finding a bit more challenging, is obviously you've got to make everything symmetrical and the same. So it's a little bit different when you're doing landscape, because nothing really needs to match each other. So yeah, I have found that a little bit more challenging, making things match up and be symmetrical and be the same shape. So moving forward, that, you know, is just going to be something that I practice. I mean, it's turned out okay, but it's just taking time. And I think, you know, it's like when you start any project, isn't it? And you're learning on the job, if you like. You know, it's just my favourite word, testing and adjusting, which is what I'm doing with Sidney, for sure. But actually, you know, I am actually quite glad that he's big, because it's a real challenge actually trying to finish something this big. I guess all you people who do 3D felting are probably thinking, he's not that big. But for me, because I haven't done anything like that, I did find him quite big. But he's just such a character. I think that's what I really, really love about him. He's really is characterful in his appearance. Okay, now obviously I want the tail to go up by his back and then curl round to his head, and then it kind of curls round back on itself. And for the tail to do that, as you can see, I'm kind of felting it into his bottom, poor Sidney, but then I've got more of the wool and I'm putting it over the top, as you can see, and then felting it in to his bottom and then his tail, which is then kind of like a bit of a plaster, if you like, which is holding his tail to his body then. And yeah, that's worked really well actually, because this part now, which is what I'm doing, is adding, so I've been using Shetland core wool, if you like. It's not core wool, but it's Shetland wool, and that's the brown, so it's all carded. But for his tail I'm using blue face Leicester, which is really, really soft, and it is roving, and that's what I'm attaching now to his tail for his bushy tail. It's taking a long time, and I haven't finished it yet either, so I worked quite hard on him for about an hour during this time. Yeah, you can clearly see what I'm doing there, attaching the tail to the body with this kind of plaster effect thing, sticking it to the body. But yeah, I mean, what I'm doing with the fur, if I just I'm going to slow the video down now so I can just show you what I'm doing here. Okay, here I am. So you can clearly see I've got that bit of wool. I'm going in the middle, making sure I've secured down the wool, backwards and forwards, so it's kind of a line across there, and then I push the wool up. You can only just see at the top of the screen, I do apologise, and my hand is in the way, but then I'm going along the same line but with the wool pushed up, and that's what's attaching the wool. So hopefully that makes a bit more sense of what I was just talking about. Yeah, so bless Sydney, I carry on and on and on, and I've still got at least 3/4 to do, so I've only done, I would say, 1/4 of it. So yeah, a lot more to go yet, and I'm really enjoying it, and it is looking good. So I will do a little reveal picture so you can see him, and I'll plonk it in at the end here. So this morning I've decided to make a quilted landscape. Because it's coming up to spring, well, I say that really hopefully, obviously it's not quite there yet, but I thought I would make some with some lambs. So I decided to draw a design with some hills which are undulating, with a kind of a piece going diagonally across as well. I wanted the sheep, I've kind of drawn them here, obviously not quite like that, and I wanted a lamb in them as well, because obviously we're coming up to that season, and because I love sheep I obviously wanted to put a little lamb in. So that's what I'm going to design today. So that's the beginning process. I just wanted to know whereabouts I'm going to be putting my hills and the bit in the front. I chose this for my sky because I just thought actually that's a nice bright spring sky, I thought, and I will add clouds. And what I usually do with my felted landscapes is I usually add wool onto the top of them, and then a bit of organza kind of material over the top, like netting, actually, sorry, not organza, netting. So I'm going to put this on the top first, and then come down with my heels and just draw on in pencil, so I know where I'm going to go, because obviously my design is going to go up into the sky. I want this obviously coming across here like this. So once again, I've just drawn the very, very basic design. So I've got this coming down here, this heel going across here, which always makes a nice V to be able to take people through the picture. And then I've got my my diagonal piece of foreground, which I think just also draws people through. Sorry about the pencil, I don't really like to draw things too straight, and even when I do my seascapes, my felted seascapes, I kind of like to always go at an angle. So that's my style. Okay, so you can see I've chosen my sky. Next I decided to have a look for my hills. Now I did cut some of these before, just so that it speeds up on time. Actually I made a mistake, because I wanted this bit here to go that way, cut it, and I thought, ooh, I'm going the wrong way. So yeah, I just had to turn it upside down and do it another way. So the first bit which is going to go in is the right hand side of the hillsides. So these are not mountains, they're hillsides. So we're thinking of Yorkshire Dales, that kind of scene, because actually I want to try and incorporate either this or some of this, which might portray, oh sorry about the camera shake there, stop, knocked it with my arm, which might portray, you know, when you get the really lovely walls. What's the walls I'm trying to think of? Anyway, that will come back to me, I'm sure. Dry stone walling, that's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, so that's what I've picked. Actually I've chosen some woven woolly kind of fabric, which I thought was quite nice, and I just really like the colours. I just wanted to do dark hills and then a lighter foreground with the grass, and I thought that would. So I've chosen 3 bits just to layer on, because when I quilt it, you'll see I actually layer this. So I've obviously got my sky and my landscape on the top, then obviously I've got my little bit of material, and then I put wadding underneath. So everything I do will be kind of made a little bit 3D in the end, which you'll see as we go through this process. So this is just the beginning process of it. Right, so straight away, that just takes you straight into the picture, doesn't it? I love that. You know, as soon as you put that bit on, that takes me straight in there. Okay, I wanted to then add to this side here with undulating shapes. Now it may not look like much at the minute, admittedly. I am not so bold as to think that it's perfect, but this is a process, you see, and what I really like doing with my pieces is layering them. I might put that one, otherwise you've got 2 the same there. I like to layer fabrics, and I just think when I then free motion quilt into it, it really makes it stand up. So, you know, you could put, no, that doesn't match at all. So I don't put. What I'm actually working on is an ironing board. This is not an ironing board, but it's like a wool ironing pad, which is really handy when you're doing something like this, because you're always having to kind of iron and straighten out your fabric. For me, I mean, people do it all differently, don't they? But for me, I like to iron stuff. Okay, now if yeah, I'm going to take that bit off. I don't like that bit. Okay, so if I put this on, So we're going to be... Yeah, it's such a shame that's going the opposite way. Yeah, don't like that. So I've bought different greens to maybe come down with. So I want it to come down here into here. And then we've got this other green going in the foreground going that way. So I've brought down I've ironed some other greens. Yeah, I think I'm going to use a bit of that. So what I usually do is measure where do I want it to end. So we're kind of doing that now, aren't we? So we're going from here to here. And let's be honest, we don't really like wasting fabric. So I'm going to take it from there to there. I'm just going to put in a cut in. Yeah, so you need to make sure you know where you're going. So I've added this cut here. So I'm going to be going across here and down, okay? And this bit is not wasted because that bit can add to go on the other side. Now when I cut into it, of course I'm not going straight at all. Going up to where that mark is, which is there. I'm just going to go to a triangle there. So we're on Sunday. What a beautiful day here down south. Just going to take these bits off and show you. I've been fiddling around. I had to finish yesterday recording. I just wanted to show you where I came to. I decided obviously I wanted to go, not obviously, I decided I wanted to go from dark to light. So these in this side, happy with. Wasn't so happy with that one on the top. So I've made these go here, which I think personally looks better. So that starts us off with our hill, with our hillside. Okay, then I put this one on. So then we're gradiating with colours, and we're coming up and filling in the side. I then came in with the other green that I cut yesterday. And then I cut this one, so I know it looks like it's going the wrong way around, but it does fit in there. And I want to cover over this bit. Can you see I've come to an end there? I want to cover that over. Now this last bit is a bit of faffing around really, because I found this bit of velvet as well. I love velvet. So I'm going to stick that there. I don't know whether it's high enough, because when I put the green on we'll soon see. And then we've got the green which finishes it off. Right, so I want the green that angle, so I'm going to bring everything to me, if that makes sense. To me, to you, etc, etc. So that green I've put in there is not high enough, so I'm going to stick him up a bit higher. Now with all of this you're probably thinking, how's she going to keep that on? I'd be thinking the same thing. I'm going to use some repositional adhesive spray. Okay, so in the end I will just put a spray on everything and then position it how I want it. Something like that. It may not be exactly like that, because every time I look at it I change my mind, but yeah, once I've got it sprayed with this, I mean this is Hobbycraft one, you can get the 505 one as well. This works just as well. Obviously you need to do that in a kind of area which has got lots of air, and keep it away from the iron, etc, etc, if you're using that. But yeah, so this is what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to sew it down, but I will be filming all the process. Now the other thing I did, which I think you agree brings everything in, is I put the mount around it. And it's surprising how just mounting it just changes it completely. Obviously we're going to have our sheepies on it, and I'm also going to have this, let's put that underneath, going across. So this will be like the dry stone walling which I was talking about, which I'll be sewing into, so it will look quite textured. That's what I want. So that will look nice and textured across there like that. So if I just once again put that down, looks a bit heavy at the minute, but it won't do by the time I've couched it, something like that, but gone over the top of it, made it a bit thinner, but it's just putting a little bit of different colour. I like that, but also, I mean, I probably might try the more grey a bit, more grey greeny bit. That one's a bit purpley, isn't it, and pinky. Anyway, so I've got loads of that, as you can see here, to choose from. But on the whole, I'm really pleased with that, actually. So I was just going to finish up by showing you what else I've been doing this week. So once again, I've been trying to design a hare, which was a little bit smaller, and I could sell it in bosom and online. And this is who I've come up with. He's really cute, isn't he? So I'm really pleased with him, but I haven't thought of a name. So maybe someone could suggest a name for me. He's very sweet. He's a lot smaller than my other things, but actually still took me about 3 hours to get to this place. But I was, favourite word, testing, adjusting and moving him around a bit to get the right leg movement and etc, etc. I've also got Sidney, who I promised you I was going to show what his tail looked like. So obviously I haven't finished him yet, as you can see, but his tail is starting to look like a squirrel's tail. So by the time I finish going all the way up here, we're going to have that real effect of that bushy tail. So yeah, lots of work to go on that, and I've still got to sort out this chest bit because I'm not 100% sure, so I took that off the other day. But yeah, pleased with the eyes, pleased with his ears. So that's all gone well. It's just now sorting out his tail. I mean, look, that's my hand, and I've got big hands. He's huge, isn't he? And he's going to be holding some of my, excuse me while I reach across, some of my little acorns I made earlier on. Well, at the end of last year, actually. So I want these involved in some way, but yeah, we'll see what we come to. But he is only for me. Bye for now, and we shall see you on Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, when I upload our Roxy Creations video, and tonight I will be downloading this video. So, but we'll see you next week on a Wednesday, and then following on the Sunday. So goodbye and take care, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.